Okay, I'm pretty sure I've read this one before because I recognize the title, but we're gonna read it anyways, of course. Day 12. This, That, and the Other Thing. March 28th, 2006. I meant to write an account of my recent trip to Boston and New York. Really, I did, but somehow I have not found the time. Sigh. Sorry about that. Now you know why I call this not a blog. I will never understand how some folks find the time and energy to update their blogs daily. For what it's worth, I was never very good at keeping a journal either. With no more travel on my immediate horizons, there's Markin in Ohio over Memorial Day, and then nothing until the summer, I've finally been able to settle down and get back into A Dance with Dragons. That's where most of my time and energy has gone of late. For the last week or so, I've been back at the wall with Jon Snow and the men of the Night's Watch. Jon, I think, will be one of the main beneficiaries of splitting my A Feast for Crows into two. I will have more room to deal with Jon and Stannis and the Wildlings and the rest, which will allow me to flesh out their storylines more and bring them to a better resolution. But it's more than that. Although I had completed something on the order of 5 Jon chapters before deciding to divide the book, I was never really happy with them, and rereading them now has reinforced my feelings. They need to be much stronger, and I believe I see how to do that now. Sometimes putting things on the back burner can work wonders. That where the muse lives, or the moose, as Paris sometimes calls her. Oh, and I've come up with a new title for the 7th and final, I hope, volume of the series. A Dream of Spring. I like the sound of that a lot better than A Time for Wolves, which has been my working title for Book 7 up to now, and I think it gives a better sense of the book that I want to write. A Dance with Dragons, then The Winds of Winter, then A Dream of Spring. Shouldn't take long, huh? Other than that, I'm glad The Sopranos is back. I haven't made up my mind about Big Love yet, and I miss Rome, and wish the second season was starting next month. Saw V for Vendetta last night with Paris and Melinda and Carl. Too much stuff. Comes of being pack rats and living in the same house since 1983, I suppose. Current mood. Null null. Well, that was a pretty awesome post. Yeah, A Time for Wolves was the original planned title of the 7th book. Very cool piece of information. I guess when he decides he actually needs an 8th book, maybe that will be the name of the 7th book, and A Dream of Spring will be the name of the 8th book. That is completely possible. And, it's interesting that he had to rewrite some of the Jon chapters at the beginning of A Dance with Dragons. So, those are like him talking to Gilly about swapping the baby, and Mance's execution, Rattleshirt's execution, etc. Those are the main things I remember from those chapters. But again, it's interesting because Jon's chapters often feel like they could have been combined. They're short, especially at the beginning of the book, and well, it seems he felt very strongly that he needed it to be formatted like that, which is interesting. And it makes me feel like there might be more to those chapters than I currently know. I mean, he had that conversation with Melisandre, which alludes to his death and his rebirth, potentially. So, there is that. Well, if he says that putting things on the back burner can work wonders, then The Winds of Winter is about to be like 15 out of 10. Anyways, pretty good post. See you guys next time.